Hello, everybody. Welcome to back to Facebook Live. I'm coming at you from the North Coast Redwoods District, California State Parks. If everybody can hear me, if anybody's on yet, I'm gonna wait a minute and let people get on. If you can hear me, let me know. Uh, it's nice to be here in the Redwoods, and it's not too hot today. It's nice and kind of overcast. The sun's not beating down here. Still enough light to uh, have a good quality feedback for you here. I'm gonna let people. Hello, Sandra. Hi, Danielle. Sorry. Um, I'm gonna let people get on and give you a little tour of this big tree I'm underneath today. It's amazingly big, tall. I was just saying how nice of a day it is here at Prairie Creek State Park, where I am streaming live. Hello, Robin. Great you could join us. Yeah. There's a story about the redwood tree that Yurok people have, why we call it the heart of the community, the heart of our people. And that's just a teaser. I'm not going to tell that story today. Haha. Now you have to come back. Keep watching. You'll get that story eventually. Um, Kathleen, good. Can everybody hear me okay? Thumbs up or a like, or even just say yes, we can hear you. I would appreciate that feedback. It's hot in Texas. Ooh, man, I betcha. Central California, Kathleen, hello. So today I'm going to just jump right in. I got a short amount of time and I'm covering deep subjects in our conversations. Uh, Again, I work at Patrick's Point State Park as an interpretive maintenance specialist. My name is Skip Lowry. Um, I'm Native American descent. I'm also Irish and German, so I respect and appreciate all cultures. My cultural worldview is one from my mom's side of the family, the Yurok side of my family. Her mom's Yurok and her mom's Yurok, and so on until three or four generations, and then they were all Yurok, mom and dad, and nothing else. Contact happened here to my family not that long ago. So we talk about history as interpreters a lot of times. We talk about place and what places mean to different people. And I'm excited to be an interpretive specialist right now in this district because the dialogue has started to happen regarding inclusiveness of our Native American perspectives, and not just including it, but actually learning from it and adapting our teaching, our interpretive techniques, and our curriculum to accurately reflect the Native perspectives of the land which we as state parks try to honor and steward and respect and take care for everybody to enjoy. Um, so if anybody's got questions at any time about perspectives on Native American and interpretation, that's where I'm coming from. I'd like to start just by talking about how there are words called trigger words. Native American people, there's a lot of things that have happened bad and to us in our history, and we haven't had the time to process it and heal from it in a way where there's a community awareness that also will shift their worldview. They'll transform themselves to honor kind of the mission of California State Parks, was to create the best educational and recreational experience for people who come visit our parks. You can't do that without including Native American perspectives of place, because we were inherently tied to this place, are inherently tied to these places. So two words I'm going to talk about today, really quick. When you talk about interpreting Native American curriculum, I guess anywhere, a lot of the time there's two words that come up and are used that, for me, create a negative effect. They're trigger words for me. One of those words is the word settler. They're settlers. That word does not grasp the concept and the reality of the impacts that Euro immigration had to an environment and to the people that were inherently from that place and devoted to that place since time immemorial. So I got a little thing off the internet. I looked up the word settle in the dictionary and settler. And so I'm just going to read a couple of the things that come up. It says one is settle, to resolve or reach an agreement about, like a mutual agreement, to determine something, to accept or to agree. Okay. Number two is the word pay, to like pay, to settle up, to pay something. So to give money or property to, through a deed of settlement or a will. Number three, they said to adopt a more steady or secure style of life. Some of these examples are interesting because then they give, like, says, oh, the dust from the mill settled on the roof. Okay. The word settler does not qualify any of these, like, to me, because they didn't settle when they came here. They actually unsettled people who have been here in harmony with the nature for so long, since time immemorial. So to accurately describe colonial, colonization in California, it's inaccurate to describe the first people that immigrated here as settlers from my perspective as a Native American. There was so much destruction and so much unsettling that happened due to the lack of empathy and understanding, and due to the rampant racism and structural oppression that came with the Western philosophical worldview from Euro immigration. It's tough for me to talk about. Like, I kind of get choked up and I can get lost really quick because this is a deep subject, but it's something I am passionate about helping other people understand that is important. Words are so important. How you use them is so important. And words have been strategically implemented and designed into legislation for certain reasons. And one of these ways is settle, the word settler. It perpetuates the what do you call it? Just perpetuates like stereotypes, I guess, of the way that they came peacefully, and that it was a good thing, and that that you can be proud of where you come from, but understanding that the impacts you make when you go into somebody else's community and how you act and the words you use has got to be talked about for us to create a healthy world and build the stewards that we want for this world, where everybody's included and everybody's appreciated, and their viewpoints and perspectives are woven into the fabrics of society. And that hasn't happened yet. It's happening now. It's pretty exciting. So any comments or questions on the word settle or settler, or responses to how it makes me feel, I appreciate it, because I'm going to move on to the next word that is a trigger word for me, which is wilderness. So the word wilderness, the wild. It's a noun. An uncultivated, uninhabited, and inhospitable region. Here's some synonyms. The wilds, the wastes, the uninhabited, the region, inhospitable region, uncultivated region. Subcontext of that. A neglected or abandoned area of a garden or town. A position of disfavor, especially in a political context. The quote they use for that example is interesting. It says, "The man who led the Green Party out of the wilderness." The origin of the word says Old English wildyarn. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it says land inhabited only by wild animals. So when I just talk about how this place was settled in history, it was peaceful, it was harmonious. The Yurok culture, we were not war. We had actually ceremonies and life skills that would stop war from happening. And there was a price that you paid if you did get into a physical altercation with people where somebody is physically hurt or property is damaged, that is so complex. It would take me a long time to research it, and then to talk about it 15 minutes wouldn't be enough. But the fact that they settle the wild, they put these two words together. They settled the wilderness. Just institutionalizes the idea, the misconception that Native people who are here inherently bound and devoted to making this place a beautiful, balanced world for humans to always exist in, that they were settled by people who came into a wilderness. And it also, unfortunately, pushes oppressive context of that we are wild, we are animals. To live in a wilderness is to be an animal. That's where the word comes from. So my challenge to everybody out there that's really wants to have these kind of challenging dialogues, but transformational ones. All growth comes with tension, you know. Change comes with tension. It's the only constant. Tension and growth. And so we have to become comfortable having this dialogue as interpreters of the places we represent, because there are histories that are immemorial to those places, and there are words that specifically trigger obstacles to creating the or to successfully completing the mission of California State Parks and Recreation. That's pretty much in a nutshell the two words that I picked last week. I don't know if you missed it. I just introduced myself saying we're going to start talking about how do we appropriately talk about Native American cultures as representatives of state park, California State Park, that has a really bad track record for how they, California as a state has a bad track record for how they have termed us, labeled us, and oppressed us. Another example. Here's how they can use words, but then what the words mean, they do something almost opposite of what the word. The Act for the Government and Protection of Indians. That sounds great, right? Government protection of Indians. Who wouldn't want that? This is in 1849 Monterey, California. Within this act, the men delegates, early delegates of California were all men. They were all people who acquired wealth off of appropriating land, because land acquisition and annexation is how the wealth of America got built. Indian children within this act could be obtained for indenture. That means like slave, like you kind of own them. Convicted Indians could be hired out of jail, and Indians could not testify against white people. So he did it to me, you know, like everything's happening now, you know, call the cops on someone and say he did this to me. And then that person has no rights to testify against the person that calls them out. And then that person is indentured to you, and you kind of own them like a slave. So this is 1849 during Civil War stuff. And it says 24,000, just 27,000 California Native Americans were took as forced laborers by settlers. Again, they use that word, settlers, including 4,000 to 7,000 children between 1851 and 1852. 3 Indian commissioners, they're non-native people delegated to talk to the Indians, negotiated treaties with the Indians, and eventually 18 were written, allocating 7.5% of the state to the reservations and annexing the rest as state of California property. Those 18 treaties were never ratified in Constitution. But do you think the word got back to the native communities that oh, we didn't ratify your treaties, here's your land back? That didn't happen. So words mean something. They make a difference. Native people have often been on, there's that structural oppression about how they've used words to literally steal our children and take them away as indentured servants. I'm going to end with a hard quote. I appreciate everyone's time. I got 1 minute before I'm supposed to cut. But in 1865, the Civil War ended. Colonel Francis Lippett from Fort Humboldt on March 1862 quoted, Individuals and parties are constantly engaged in kidnapping children, Indian children, frequently attacking the rancherias and killing the parents for no other purpose. This is said to be a very lucrative business. The kidnapped children bring good prices. In some instances, Mr. Hansen tells me, hundreds of dollars apiece. This continued after the Emancipation Proclamation. The California Slave Act, known as, from our perspective, it's not the Act for Government and Protection of Indians, it's the California Slave Act. So again, we're going to be talking about deep subjects very briefly for my next few Facebook Lives. And then I'm going to get into kind of the more cultural, beautiful side of Yurok, our culture, and tie it together. Because too often, people want to hear about all the awesome, beautiful Indian, Native American, Indigenous perspectives, or want us to sing, want us to show our necklaces, learn language, and that is all great. That is all, I'm going to bring that. But to set the stage, I have to emphasize that I come from a place of resistance movements, peoples. My family survived a genocide, and so it's my duty as a state park interpreter to appropriately and respectfully engage and complete the mission of our parks. And to do that, I have to have these hard conversations with people. And I thank so many of you that are out there watching. I don't see any comments. I'm not sure if they're not popping up or if I'm just long-winded and people don't want to talk. But I really encourage you guys to come to our parks in the district, North Coast Redwoods district, and try to find me in person, because building relationships in person is easier for me. Technology is not, but I really am thankful that you guys clocked in, and I hope you guys tune in next Friday. If you want other subject topics, we have every day at 3 o'clock Facebook Live. Our district puts on interpretive engagements, experiences. So tune in every day, and you'll hear something else, maybe not so challenging or deep, that you would like to be a part of in our parks, because we sure do want you guys a part of our lives and our places here. So with that, I'm going to exit and look forward. I hope you guys have stay safe, and I'll see you again another day.